in context and take you to 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 1 to 10. This morning I want to share with us a topic, how not to deal with discouragement. How not to deal with discouragement. One way or another, discouragement will visit and will encamp in your life. And one way or another, sometimes we go through situation, or you'll go through situations that you will experience discouragement. Most of the time, discouragement comes especially after having given your best, and after doing your best, or after giving your best to do something, and then there comes a visit or a cloud that darkens everything. We see the great performance of Elijah. His great performance is experienced in what he's doing or what he does, especially in verse 1. Or rather, if you go to chapter 18, verse 19, there's a great performance. This prophet of God is one versus 950 prophets of a false god. And so he alone is contesting with these people. He alone has a battle and is fighting with these people, and is fighting them spiritual battles or warfare. And he is just going to do what the Lord tells him. In 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 40, actually he kills all of them. And then 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 43 and 45, the great miracle of calling the rain. He says there'll be a drought, and there's been a drought, but he calls the rain. And so he is actually actively being used by God. And so he calls the rain, and he is experiencing a great work, a great performance in the Lord's presence. And then, unfortunately, 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 2, where we have read the moral killer. The moral killer. Jezebel. With all his morale and with all his energy, with everything that he's doing, there comes a moral killer. Verse 2, the moral killer says, "Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah saying, 'So may the gods do to me and more also, if I do not make your life as one of them by this time tomorrow.'" And she is referring to, "I will kill you as you killed my prophets, my false prophets." These are prophets that were every day going to the queen and giving up prophecies that were pleasing her, things that she needed to hear, things that she needed to be adored. These were prophets that had been set aside and just to say what the queen wanted to hear. But Elijah has killed them. And the queen is mad. The queen is furious. The queen wants to finish this so-called prophet of God. And in the midst of serving God, the moral killer drops in words that are just killing Elijah. I promise you one thing, that sometimes you will be out there and you shall have this energy of serving God, you shall be encouraged, you shall be motivated, but some people will just come with loose words and drop loose words on your way. Sometimes it may be friends, sometimes it may be relatives, sometimes it will be issues that will come and parade themselves on your way. You are on a path of doing a great work for God or for your family, and some people will just come and belittle you or belittle the work that you are doing with loose words or calculated words or words that are meant to just frustrate you. Sometimes it may be loss. Loss may just come and becomes the morale killer. You may be putting in the best foot forward that you can in your life. You may be putting in the best foot that you can at your workplace. And then just a loose colleague with a loose word comes and just speaks things that you wonder what's happening. You may be fully engaged in business and you just experience a great loss in business that sometimes you wonder, what is this? How can I even pick up myself from this business? I am doing my best, and actually you have been doing your best. There's evidence of you doing your best, and it just comes and takes away your business. It may be your property. Sometimes you are so excited and you have really invested as a young adult or a young couple. You have really invested and you have bought this plot, and then you go and you find somebody has grabbed it and they are putting up a structure, or they've already done a structure around it, and they are more powerful than you. And so as you try to do all those things, you are so demoralized and you are just hurt. Lots of opportunities. You may be geared up for great things in your life, and unfortunately you lose your opportunity of employment. Unfortunately you lose, or there's loss, great loss of that opportunity. Your bread just is taken away by people, or it may be just circumstances that visit you and they are not going any soon. We have options on how to react. And this morning I just want to share 4 of the options how not to react. Number 1, we see Elijah exercising this one. Number 1, he runs away. Do not run. How not to deal with discouragement. Most of us, when things come our way, we run. We engage the gear of running. And we don't even want to hear what God is saying. But you run. You try to go and hide. You try to go and just be where God is not even, where God does not desire you to be. We run and we are not even desiring to be near where God wants us to be. Initially, we see in Elijah's life is a servant that his steps every day were ordered by God. In 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 3, when God tells him, go to the brook of Cherith and depart from here and turn eastwards and hide yourself by the brook Cherith, which is the east of Jordan. You shall drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you. This servant of God is and has been used to hear from God. God is the one that has been telling him when to move. God is the one that has been telling him what to do. God is the one that has been telling him how to do it. But unfortunately, in 1 Kings 19 verse 3, he does not wait for the voice of God. He just takes on his heels and he runs. In 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 9, God again orders his steps. In verse 9, he is told by God, arise and go to Zarephath. Arise and go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow there to feed you. And so in God, as Elijah, as a lifestyle of hearing from God. And so in verse 9 of chapter 17, he's told even how he is supposed to go to this place, Zarephath, and he'll meet a widow. And God is the one that has been speaking to him. But he acts in a different way in chapter 19. In 1 Kings 18 chapter 1, even the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year saying, go and show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. This is a prophet. This is a servant of God that is used to be, he is used to be hearing from God. God is the one that orders his steps. But unfortunately, in chapter 19, verse 3, God does not tell him to run. It's the threat of Jezebel that pushes him to run. Why? Because Jezebel has killed his morale, has discouraged him. Jezebel has killed his morale. Sometimes before you run, hear what God is saying. Sometimes before you make some of those hasty decisions, listen to what God is saying. Sometimes before you do some of those things that you want to do, listen. Some of us, when we are a little bit depressed, we choose wrong formulas of even being helped by God. Sometimes most of us, when we are depressed, we run to the wrong sources of help. We run to the wrong people. We run to the wrong solutions. We run and we have even options of life. Even Elijah contemplates suicide. He says even life is good, not good anymore. Most of us, sometimes we have contemplated and we have said, why am I even living anyway? Why should even somebody live? Why should even somebody even live an extra day? Because it is just hard down here. It's hard down here. How not to react to discouragement is to run. Number two, how not to react into this discouragement is to give up. Give up. In 1 Kings 19 verse 4, Elijah has given up. He has given up. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down on a broom tree. And he asked that he might die, saying, "It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers." He has come and reached to a place whereby he's saying, "Lord, this is now too much. I am done with this thing that you have sent me. I am tired because now this is just extraordinary. I don't have such strength." And so he has given up. Many a times we have temptations of giving up. Actually, most of us, once in a while, we have given up. You look at situations and you say, I have come to an end. I will not do it again because I am tired. A great high achiever turned into a spectator. He has just been achieving for God great things. He has been achieving for God great things in ministry. Yet a great achiever is discouraged to the level of giving up, to the level of suicide, to the level of just going into hibernation. Many people give up. Many pastors turn and become salespeople. Many people resign because there's pressure at work. Many people give up so soon in marriage and say, it's not working, it will never work, I'm gone, I'm done. Many people look at life and say, I better choose the poison, I'll drink it than live again. Many people look at their responsibilities and say, why is it only me that I'm given these responsibilities? Why is it only me that they give all this work? I am done with this thing, I'm gone. Many people look at a business and they say, I cannot take the losses anymore. These losses are just but too much. I can't handle it anymore. I will go away and I've given up. When the end seems to come, the Lord is just starting. The Lord is just starting. Sometimes you look at your children and you give up and saying, I think this thing called parenting is for a few. I am not one of those few because I am done. These kids are just too much. And you just say, I can't do it anymore. Sometimes you look at your academic work and the things you're supposed to cover academically, and you say, anyway, who said everybody must do an extra degree or an extra course? I'm okay the way I am. I will not even pursue another extra course, or I'm tired because maybe your proposal was written in red, foolish thinking. We give up and we just say, I'm done. Number 3, how not to respond is compare. 1 Kings 19:4b. Elijah said, it is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no more better than my fathers. Comparison. Comparison. He compares himself with his fathers. And if you know something about his fathers, especially this is an interpretation of his forefathers who were there and how they had done things. Especially is comparing himself to Exodus 32 and Numbers chapter 11. And he's saying, my fathers, I know when things were so much, they were swallowed by the earth. Who am I? I can also be swallowed by the earth. They were consumed by fire. They were beaten by snakes. They did everything because they were rebels. So it's okay, Lord, swallow me and just take away. I am not better than my fathers. I'm not better than my fathers. And so sometimes we compare. Sometimes when discouragement come in, we compare ourselves with many other people and many other things, and we say, I am not better. I'd rather just be gone. Comparison brings burnout. Comparison brings burnout. The more we compare things, the more we experience burnout. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, the Bible says, not that we dare to classify or compare ourselves with some of those who are commending themselves. But when they measure themselves by one another and compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding. Comparison shows that you are without understanding. You cannot compare yourself with somebody that you even don't know where they're coming from or how they are doing their things, because that comparison will just weigh you down. It will wear you down. It will discourage you the more. Many times students compare themselves with other students. You look at a performer in your class, in your school, and you say, I wish I was like them. And then it sometimes may bring discouragement because the teachers praise this one student or the lecturers praise this one student, and everyone is saying this. Why can't you be like this and so and so? Because, and then you catch that fever of comparison and you get discouraged and say, it's true. I will never be like one of them because even everybody is seeing. And so I am not going anywhere. Sometimes parents compare themselves with other parents. They visit each other and they acquire a depression because of what they have seen in the other house that is not in their house. Sometimes men compare cars. We love cars, men. Some of the men love cars and gadgets. Sometimes you compare your phone as a young person and you say, why is it that I'm the only one who is using Kaduda and Kabambe and people having smartphones? And that comparison kills you. Sometimes we compare clothing and we get annoyed. Sometimes we compare salaries and we say, person X has a better salary than me, and if I am sure, if I can remember, I am qualified than this person. Why is this person being paid more than me? I am better qualified than this person. I should actually have done more publications, have done more research. Why is person X being appreciated more than me? Sometimes in business, you say, Lord, I devote myself unto you. I pray, I tithe, I give everything in church. But my business competitor next door is an Ethan. He drinks every day. He does all the negative things. Yet when we come through business competition, he's flourishing more than me. Lord, why? Why am I the one who is not flourishing? Comparison. Comparison. Elijah did it also. I am not better than my fathers. And he continued to heap depression on himself. Finally, we exaggerate so much about what we go through. Before, 1 Kings 19:10, even I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. We sometimes overstate our importance. We sometimes dramatize the crisis. We sometimes dramatize our crisis. Sometimes we just dramatize things that are happening around us. And we start saying how we are the ones that are being victimized. The common statement, everybody hates me. No one loves me. I will never get a job. My team will never win. I am the only person who is unlucky in this world. I am the only person who is unlucky in this world. While Elijah is magnifying the problem so much, you may think he's being pursued by the 950 prophets that he had killed. Yet it's only Jezebel, one person. It's only one person that wants him dead. It's only one person that wants him dead. But sometimes we say, people are saying, in fact, one of my statements in leadership that I enjoy so much is, when I hear people are saying, I know for sure it is a maximum of 5, but mostly 2, because one told the other one. And so not everybody is saying. People are saying, it sometimes comes to discourage you, and you think everybody is saying it. So people are saying you are a bad leader. People are saying you are an awful business person. People are saying you are an awful parent. Maybe it's just one person saying. And then one person using a megaphone to magnify people are saying. And so we are tempted sometimes to overstate our importance. We want to look as if everybody is desiring our downfall. Elijah did it in 1 Kings 19:10. I alone am left, and they seek my life to take it away. So we dramatize the crisis, and we make it look extra big. Yet, it is just one but Jezebel saying. It's just but Jezebel saying. It's just Jezebel. If you called fire, if you called rain from heaven, you have called fire, you have killed 950 people, what can God not do with Jezebel? If you just look in chapter 17 and 18 of your life. Look in chapter 17 and 18 of your life and see what can God not do in your chapter 19. That is, look at the things of God has taken through in your past. Look at some of the things that God has seen you through. Look at some of the things that God has taken you through. In chapter 17, God has been able to help you even raise a dead child. You have gone to a widow's house. She didn't have flour and oil, and you have done a miracle. You have multiplied things. Then, unfortunately, this widow's child dies, and the same God has come and helped you to have a resurrection service, and the baby wakes up and the child lives again. Look at your chapter 17 of your life. The day that you were sick, the day that you had an accident, God healed you. The day that you were near even a life-threatening situation, God visited you. The day that you were jobless, the day that you are about to die, your chapter 17 should push you to chapter 18 of your life and say, even chapter 18, look, I am calling all the prophets that are evil, I've killed them. What cannot God do in chapter 19 that he did in chapter 17 and 18 of my life? What can God not do in your life that up to now, looking back, you can see the miracles? Why is only one thing making you to have a pity party and constantly comparing yourself and magnifying the problem? What cannot be done by this same God that did great things in your life? What cannot be done by this same God that did great things in your life? Are you experiencing depression and you have a strong desire to run and give up? In conclusion, are you experiencing depression and have a strong desire to run and give up? Are you constantly comparing yourself and exaggerating the problem that is visiting you? Proverbs chapter 16 verse 24, gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body. God strengthens us to continue. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 25, heaviness, that is anxiety, in a man's heart weighs him down, but good word makes him glad. God wants to send us back into activity and service. You know, the Lord does not encourage the way we encourage each other. The way that the Lord encourages is very funny. When the Lord wants to encourage you after discouragement, He sends you back to the workstation and He tells you, go work. In the same chapter, verse 15, the Lord tells Elijah, now go, it's time to work. Go anoint Hazael, go anoint Jehu, and go anoint Elisha. For your work is not yet over. Yes, you are discouraged, but Hazael must be anointed. Jehu must be anointed, and Elisha also must be anointed. And so, in the midst of all this discouragement, the Lord tells him, pick up yourself, the heaviness, the anxiety that you have, pick up yourself, go, for it's time for the Lord to use you once again. And so, are you there? And you are saying, Lord, I'm done. How can you give me a full schedule? I'm busy every day, work is killing me. And tomorrow, I'm running away, I'm giving up. Are you there and you are overburdened by work at your workplace? And you are saying, this month is my last month. Or you are students. You are saying, I will not take the pressure is too much, I will not take it anymore. I'm not taking any pressures anymore. I will run and I will hide and they will not find me. And I will not be seen by anyone. Or are you there and you are magnifying your problems? Or you are constantly comparing yourself to other people or other things? The Lord is telling you, that's not the way to deal with discouragement. That's not the way to deal with life, my child. Pick up yourself. Hold up yourself. I have more work for you. He told Elijah, I have more work for you. I need you to go and anoint Hazael, Jehu, and Elijah, for your work is not yet done. You cannot choose to be discouraged, yet the work of a prophet that I sent you has to be done tomorrow. That is, you are the only one that can anoint your replacement, Elisha. You are the only one that can replace and anoint Jehu. And you are the only one that can anoint Hazael. So you cannot choose to be discouraged, Elijah. I'm about to walk with you and take you to heaven on a chariot, but you must do the work that is left. Are you discouraged to the level of giving up? Just raise up your hand.